Welcome to Big 12 Media Days. Barry Tramel along with OSU writer Gina Mizell. The Cowboys were in town today, and the most talked about Cowboy was not Wes Lunt, the freshman quarterback who's been handed the job. What's the general impression, Gina, about the Cowboys' feelings about this freshman quarterback?
Well, Mike Gundy obviously hasn't worked with Wes Lunt during these summer workouts since coaches can't. So, you have to kind of ask the players. And it was interesting kind of getting the backstory on how players found out. Things spread through Twitter that some people were in the locker room when the quarterbacks came back. And, Wes Lunt's the guy, and they said he's been progressing well in summer workouts. And Joseph Randall went as far to say, he said, I didn't want to put too much pressure on him, but 7-on-7 looks a lot similar to when Brandon Weeden was the quarterback. So he obviously fits this offense the best of the three, and so it'll be interesting to see how that translates into the fall.
Mike Gundy went so far as to say that he didn't even factor in the fact that Wes Lunt is a freshman. Had no bearing on the decision at all. Of course, if the Cowboys are to have another successful season, they need the defense to play well. Veteran defense, very solid last season, needs to play well again as the Lunt transformation begins. What's the tone of this OSU defense, and can they keep up the turnover rate that they've been producing? Can they get even better at keeping teams out of the end zone?
Well, you said it. It's a veteran unit, and we even going back to spring, we talked about that. Mike Gundy thinks this is the fastest and the deepest defense he's had since he's been the head coach. It's taken kind of a while to build this up to where he wants it to be, and I think it is a unit that's still going to force a lot of turnovers. I don't know if they're going to lead the nation again. They had 44 last season. That might be hard to duplicate, but that's something that they practice. They're a very aggressive defense, so I would expect that turnover number to be high, but they definitely want to force more 3-and-outs. This is a unit that gave up a lot of yards, and when you don't have that same type of explosive offense that I think will take a step back this season, you need that defense to step up. But they've got all three linebackers returning. They've got Justin Gilbert and Broderick Brown in the secondary. Datewan Lowe's back at free safety. So there's a lot of talent returning. And so I think it sounds crazy for Oklahoma State fans to hear this, but I think the defense is really who they're going to lean on at the early part of the season as this offense kind of finds its footing, and especially with a freshman quarterback.
Of course, maybe my favorite part of the day was when I talked with Lane Taylor, the Oklahoma State offensive lineman. He talked about the feeling, the excitement of walking into the Big 12 Media Days as the defending champion, sort of a newfound respect for OSU football. How, after chatting with the Cowboys during this day, how high can this Oklahoma State team get? Are they capable of pulling a surprise and defending their championship? Can they get to 10 wins, 9 wins? What do you think the upside for this team is?
Yeah, people have started asking me this question a lot, and I think 8 to 9 wins is probably a good season for this Oklahoma State team. And a lot of it is so much of that unknown factor of the quarterback. I mean, that's such an important position, and if Wes Lunt doesn't play well, then the season's probably not going to go very well. But if he has a good season, if he's solid, if he can distribute the ball to these playmakers, I think that 8, 9, possibly 10 wins is possible. And I think this season's going to be very telling for this program and for Mike Gundy as far as where this program is in the Big 12. I know they've already won the conference championship. I know they've gotten to a BCS game. But if you can reload and replace Brandon Weeden and replace Justin Blackman and replace that star power and still, be in the upper echelon of the conference and maybe even challenge for the conference championship, I think that OSU has proven that, it's one of those top-notch programs and one of the elite programs in college football.
That's it from Big 12 Media Days. Oklahoma State in town today. Stay tuned for further Big 12 football coverage here on News OK and every day in the Oklahoman.